Hey, this is Scott Photography Bonsai. Today we're going to talk about digicams and if they will survive in the marketplace. This is all based on my opinion, how I think things should go, that they do survive. At least I hope they survive as a type of camera. I do like digicams, basically the integrated lens cameras. They have various types. There are waterproof cameras, there are standard small digicams, also bridge cameras that are larger, more like an SLR, but they have really big lenses usually. Of course, with cell phones, they're getting better and better with cameras inside. They have multiple cameras to get more range, get better range. There are a lot of improvements with phones. I think it's good that cell phones are getting better and better with photography, getting higher quality, and they are just a great, convenient tool to use. Now, there are some downsides, usually in the ways that you can use them. They're not as featured for things like time lapses or whatever, but apps kind of fill that gap. Digicams are getting less and less relevant, and I think it's really mostly because manufacturers are trying to eke as much profit out as they can from that style of camera. I've been making a lot of videos about entry-level cameras, consumer cameras that are lower cost. Probably my most popular video at the moment is about the Nikon B500 bridge camera. That's a pretty simple camera. It has a relatively long lens, it's lower cost, doesn't even have a viewfinder. There's a lot of downsides, and I see comments coming in about that camera. People seem to have misconceptions about how much it can do for them quality-wise, what it can do for them. It's missing a lot, like I said, and I try to steer people away from cameras like that in general unless they really know and understand what they're getting into, what they're paying for. There are a lot of other cameras out there. I think the best right now are the 1-inch sensor digicams. You have the Sony RX100. The original is still sold new, and it's around $400. I think that's a relatively good deal, but I would like to see it even cheaper. The issue is that the manufacturers are bumping up the price of all of these 1-inch sensor cameras, and I really think they should get rid of all of the 1/2.3-inch sensor cameras in the marketplace. The problem with that camera is that it's really, at this point, it is not up to the level even of cell phones in some cases. With the cell phone, they have better technology. They have multiple cameras, multiple lenses that basically give you better quality results in some situations than these little cheap tiny digicams. It's hard to recommend these super entry-level bridge cameras or these super entry-level standard digicams. Really, you get some control benefits. Maybe you don't usually get RAW, you don't usually get features that can be important to a photographer as they learn and as they grow. So I really think the manufacturers are doing a disservice to the marketplace, the entry-level digicams, by not pushing that technology down into the entry level. I think it's kind of almost necessary at this point to push 1-inch sensors down to the entry level, push more technology down to the entry level, make sure that more control, more features for photographers get down there, so that when these people come in and they decide, I want to try a camera, I kind of have an interest in photography, and they see, I'm going to buy this entry-level bridge camera, but then they realize it doesn't have RAW, they realize it doesn't have maybe time-lapse or whatever else, where it's a feature that a photographer would probably want, and it's not in there. So they would go to their phone and find out, hey, the phone has time-lapse, the phone has stacking of images, the phone has all of this and that with apps. And then they decide, why did I buy this bridge camera? They put it in a drawer and they just leave it, forget about it, and then they just don't really get that much into photography, maybe. I think it's a bad thing overall, where the manufacturers are holding back things that they can do to improve the situation. The SIPA organization, basically in Japan, they have numbers for sales of different types of cameras, and 2018 for all of the digicams, basically integrated lens cameras, that's all the different types. For 2018, 665,000 to 870,000. 2017, it was up to 1.25 million, and then 2016, it was up to 1.36 million units. So you can see a definite downgrade of sales of this specific type of camera. Even with cameras like the M100 going down in price a lot and really getting into the territory of digicams price-wise, the sales numbers for any type of interchangeable lens camera has been going down a little bit as well, or at least staying kind of consistent at around 1 million units per year. If your manufacturers really want to keep that type of camera around, and I really hope that they do, one is waterproof cameras, make better technology for those, put bigger sensors if you can into those cameras, make them more useful, make them more rugged, give them more options. I would love really rugged cameras that are easy to use, do a lot of things well, and aren't stupidly expensive. So I think that can happen, it's just they don't do that. I don't know all of the reasoning. Of course, costs are always a reason, but are they holding back because of some other reason? I don't know. Then the small digicams, I really think they should go to 1-inch sensor almost exclusively. Of course, you have the off-brand junk companies that are old names and these random companies, but I don't really care what they do, really. I'm talking about the larger manufacturers. Go to 1-inch sensor cameras, make sure that the camera has RAW of some type. You can kind of hide some of the features, make an easy mode, make a photographer mode in the camera, have it a one switch like Canon does sometimes with their menus. You can turn off the easy stuff very quickly and just make sure that these cameras are ready for people as they improve and learn and decide, okay, I really love photography. This tool is amazing. It gives me better quality results without much effort compared to a phone. It's pretty much a very important thing at this point to make sure that the small digicams are better in almost every way than a phone. Otherwise, you're just screwing yourself over, and I don't know. We'll see how it goes, of course. For bridge cameras, I think it's an absolute necessity that they move to 1-inch sensors inside. Of course, you might lose some range with the lens, but at this point, with that type of camera, they should give better results than a phone, better results than the smaller digicams for the most part. But they aren't. There are a lot of lower-end bridge cameras that are kind of confusing consumers in the marketplace. I see it in my comments all the time. I see people thinking they're going to get some amazing camera when they buy this bridge camera that's lower end. It's on the entry-level standpoint, and it just has that 1/2.3-inch sensor. They don't understand what's going on, and then they're going to just hate their purchase afterwards, and it's stupid. Lower the price somehow. I don't know if there is a big price difference in 1/2.3-inch sensors and the 1-inch sensors, but just make it happen, because I think at this point it really needs to happen. All of the bridge cameras should have a photographer focus. At least you can have that easy mode, photographer mode in those cameras, but 1-inch sensor, have the features that photographers will care about as they grow. And then you can also have that nice large integrated lens. It doesn't have to be ultimate zoom. It can be a decent amount of zoom like the RX10 version 2 that only goes to 200 millimeters, but you can also have longer lenses. It's not impossible. The RX10s that are 3 and 4, they have up to 600 millimeters. You do have cameras like the P1000 from Nikon. I understand that they have a smaller sensor, but then the people who buy those cameras thinking they're going to get some amazing situation, maybe they do want that ultimate zoom, and I do see a point for that camera, but when you're down in the middle range, entry-level range of bridge cameras, I really think they should have larger sensors. All that said, the main point is that I think these bridge cameras, these entry-level cameras, should improve to a certain point where they do have the larger physical sensor, where you won't be able to put it in a phone. It's just not physically possible. Get up to that level, and then also include real photographer features that help them enjoy photography, and also understand that price-wise they need to fit within phones and also within cameras that have interchangeable lenses. They have larger sensors, so it really needs to be a good balance of price versus being good enough that it is better than a phone. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. Scott for Photography Bonsai. If you did enjoy this video, please consider subscribing. Helps me out a lot. Likes and shares help out a lot as well. Thanks again.